Alrighty, let me just get the Discord up. Alrighty. Let's see here. Alrighty, there's that. Turn on this camera. Share my screen. We live? There it is. We are live. Alrighty. Alrighty. Sorry. Morning. What a fun day today. Anyone have fun yesterday when they were placing some CSPs or buying anything, and now it's coming back. So if you guys are up on your Sat L, Damien took his profit. It's a very small position for me, so I'm just going to continue to hold, just because it's at a huge, like I said, we've been buying at this huge support level. I understand the resistance. I understand where the downside could be, but we've gotten 2 diamonds here on the daily time frame. So the Williams is breaking out, the MACD is curling, this MACD is curling. I just look at 2 different lengths just because I upgraded our trading view, and I'm like, I might as well, I guess, use all the things I can use. So you can take your win if you want to. ASTS, I understood where the downside was. Unfortunately, I didn't hold for that one, so that was a bummer. Can't make all the right moves, but protecting the capital you actually have already in your account is more important than, I guess, chasing some potential profit that you could make. But the could make versus what you physically have in your account is less important. What you have in your account is definitely more important. Okay, just remember that. We did some ONDS CSPs again yesterday, so we should be up on those. We did an APLD risky one yesterday. That one's going to pay off, and we're getting a diamond today at a very nice support level, right? Like, look at this line here, and we bounced off, and confirmation is there that momentum is flipping. So APLD, MACD is curling, momentum is flipping. We got the stochastic curling. So like APLD to me looks like it would be a good one. Personally, like we said, we wait for the diamonds today, and then hopefully tomorrow we can go ahead and get that slight pullback to enter it. What's up, Damien? Make sure my mic is up. Hold on. Whole thing is glitching. Hey.
I just want to say, what a day, man.
Huge day.
Why we do it?
Yep. Like I said, I'm not sure on how many shares I'm actually going to get from all our CSPs, but I know I'm already locked in pretty much a 10% average on all the capital I have put into the market with all of our CSPs. So we'll see. If I feel more like the market is ready for that bull run, I will start just buying some shares. But obviously this is, we saw what a green day was Monday, and then a brutal day Tuesday. Last night looked like we were just gonna have another brutal day. So it kind of feels like Sunday, right? Sunday night we were like, oh my god, we're gonna die on Monday, and then it just completely was like out of the blue, green as can be, which is crazy. And then Tuesday was a bloodbath. I'm like, what is going on here? Which it could flip a switch. I mean, Iran says one thing, that the war is gonna continue, or they're not giving up, or whatever, and then like this all goes away.
Oh, 100%.
Or a false claim, or a lie comes out. You know, saying that. It doesn't even have to be real.
I walked away on Tuesday because I was like, "You're not gonna trick me. I'm out of here."
Yeah. No, and I was talking to one of my buddies and I was telling him, I was like, I don't know if this V-shaped recovery happens if I bought enough. Like, I know I have enough as far as like HIMS, Oscar, SoFi, but like the ones I want as far as data centers or space go, I'm no longer in those ones because we took our wins, right? As those ones hit their high targets early on.
Yep.
Um, and I think Rocket Labs will follow now, ASTS. So I think this one's probably the next move. If we missed out on ASTS, right, Rocket Lab should be next.
But remember, you don't need to miss out on ASTS. Just follow me with $100.
At 100 buy,
No, $100. I'm saying like if you don't if you don't want to risk something, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Just follow me with like $100 or something, or $1,000, and I'll tell you when to buy the bottom and when to sell the top, and we'll get it right. I think more than we won't, especially
yeah,
when something's in a bull run like moving up like that. It's a lot easier to time those.
yeah,
You know, when it's a chop fest like Iran recently has been really difficult because I'd buy the bottom, it would pop, but not go as high as I'd hope. Then it'd
yeah,
come down below, and I'm like, don't sell,
yeah.
Um,
Which even
just
our
in that,
current
that
level
little,
right now, after this bull run, we're still within this consolidation. We're not even close to getting out of this thing.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. And I ran like I think the chart I had shared in the stock group earlier. Still, it's like it's underneath the lowest support, I think, and it could like, you know what I mean? It's like in
yeah,
that teeter totter kind of place,
yep,
but that's why I'm trying to um like for me, I don't care what the ticker says. Like I don't care if it's COKE or ASTS, you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
if the chart is looking good and it's moving in the right direction, I want to be buying the dips, and I'm trying to really lean into the stocks that I think are going to be the biggest movers. Obviously, they have the biggest risk too,
mm-hmm,
but like SATL, like the other day, that one was teetering as well. It was like up, it was down,
yeah,
it could go either way. Um, and that's why. So today, um, on that one, it popped up so fast. But the problem for me is I've got like 5 accounts I'm managing because I've got my account, my daughter's account, my son's
yeah,
account, right? I'm like, man, I need to
too much.
just buy it in one account because then it's
Yeah,
an easy, quick, and then maybe buy a whole different stock in the other account.
right.
Um, but when that thing popped today, I saw it, but it was like way above my trend line, and I was like, I need to figure out where the top could be before I sell. And I didn't think it would drop that fast. I thought it would,
Yeah,
usually when things pop up, sometimes they hang out, especially on a day like today.
yeah,
So literally right after that popped and dropped all the way back down, I just went in, set a new trend line, and then set sells across the board. So I sold it at 335.
gotcha.
And I think it could still run at least to 340 today.
Yeah,
Um, but I was like I said, I would be kicking myself if this thing came all the way back down to 315 and then went down to $3.
yeah.
Like,
Well, it's come down quite a bit to the 290s.
yeah, and that's what I'm saying because this one had kind of that consolidation box as well, like ASTS the other day, and I knew once it broke out, it was probably going to make the uptrend. But all we need is for Trump to say something stupid, or China to be like,
Yeah,
"We're getting in this war," and then we're screwed. So,
yeah,
I hate leaving money on the table. Like example, if SATL like pops up and then all of a sudden goes to like 375 or something.
Yeah.
Like, of course, I'm going to be kicking myself, but it sucks when you see something hit that price and then you don't sell and it comes all the way back down.
Yeah, no one, I mean, like, you're upset that you could have won more, but you're not upset that you won.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other day I told my wife about ONDS hitting my target.
Yeah.
And she was like, "You sold, right?" And I was like, "Oh, I didn't sell." And she's like,
Yeah. That's not the
"What
point
the
of the
fuck are you
story,
doing?"
okay? That's not the point.
She's like, "What are you doing in that room all day if you're not selling?"
Yeah. I'm thinking about selling, okay? I'm thinking about it.
So
Yeah.
like so like right now on ASTS I have, and the target's a little high because again I'm trying to like snip the and and if I notice a top coming in earlier
Yeah.
and curling down, then I'll come in and probably sell.
Yeah.
But like right now I have my STS set for $107. And that's like, it could easily, if we keep pumping today, it could easily get to that by 10:30 my time, which is like 11:30 your time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm
if it hits that,
curious on
then
this continuation. Um I'm trying to think of where besides
so if I,
war reversal of agreement, what where do we is that all priced in? I don't think so because right like even last night we thought yesterday was a pretty bad day and then obviously it looked like it was going to get even worse based on the end of the night with Korea's market, or I think it was Korea's market dumping. So it's like so there's clearly plenty of more downside to be
oh yeah,
to
there
be made.
definitely could be.
So that's why
That's why,
like I need to, I'm trying to tell myself to not FOMO. Like this morning was really hard for me to say do not FOMO. Do not go chasing right now.
right.
Stick with your like for me, stick with your CSPs because again, I was in my mind last night thinking cuz I can't ever shut off the market in my mind and how I can,
Yep.
compound and generate more money. And I go, okay, the point of a CSP and covered calls is not because you want to make 10% or 5% in a month. It's because you want to make it consistently. Where the market isn't, you can't make it consistently, right? Always. Like for the majority you
Right.
can if you follow strategy and so forth, but if you consistently make 10% every month with, I would say with CSPs you can leave a good majority of your money in the market, right? Because
Yep.
you can adjust it, kick the can down the road, buy some time, do what you need to do, and be with doing that you can still make money the whole time. Where the other way, and I was who was I talking to? I was talking to with our APLD. I don't remember where the price was exactly yesterday, but it was somewhere I think in the low 26s when we did it. And so our CSP paid roughly 14%. So like I think it was right here, 26.20s. So it was like 14%. So it was like do I like if I was a betting man, right? Do I want to bet basically there's two bets on the table. Do I want to bet that the stock will maintain above my strike was 25, 20 above 25? It'll maintain above 25 by April 17th to make 14%. Or would I rather take the bet that the stock will get to 30? Do I want to take the bet it will maintain above 25 or do I want to bet that the stock will hit 30 by then, right? Like those are your two bets on the table for to either buy shares and say the stock's going to 30, or do I want to maintain saying it'll maintain above 25 and make the same money as if it went to 30, right? Those are the two bets on the table. So like when I was thinking that I was like I rather continuously take the bet that I think a stock will maintain above a certain price to make that money instead of betting it's going to do it right away and hopefully it does, you know?
But now, real quick, when you say, 14%,
Yeah.
that's not like, is that 14% on, like, example, if you do a CSP and you're going to be putting, I don't know,
I have it right here.
$1,000 aside.
I'll just pull up
let's
that
just say
trade.
you buy a
12,500
and you're
in
getting
collateral.
right. So what percentage on that collateral are you making?
13.8%.
Okay.
So there's your 1725.
Right. Okay.
And then so if
Because
I do
I know
this, go for it.
I was just gonna say I know a lot of times when people talk about like their CSPs or how much they made, they might be like, we're up 40% or whatever, but it's like
Yeah.
they're up 40% of the
Of that
premium.
13. Yeah.
Right, right. And then like if you actually do the math on how much they had set aside, they might only be up like 1% or
Correct. Yeah. So
0.5%. You
for like ONDS, yeah. So we did this one that was like $1.16. It was going to make 13% if I kept it the whole time frame, right? And then we closed it for 65 cents. So I really made 5.67% premium instead. But when it looks in your account, it's like, oh, you're at 50% or 40%, but it's 40% of that. So really, instead of 12, we made 6%, but it's still 6%
right,
on your capital. And that was in 3 days. And then the following day, we reopened it and got the same premium because ONDS went right back down. So I was able to close it and then reopen it for the same price.
right,
But yeah, it's still making 13% on your capital in 45 days. And this is the part where I say, well, if I do this continuously, right? Do I want to keep doing the stock will maintain above $9, and if I do this every 45 days, I can annualize 100% return on that money? And I'm just betting the stock maintains above a certain price. And then if it doesn't and I get the shares, I get to own it, at the discounted price. Like you said, ONDS has given us plenty of time to load up. Well, it's like if it stayed under 9 for me, I would definitely be loaded up and I would be at a really good price. But if not,
right,
if I annualize this, 45 days goes by, I do it again, you know, I can still make 100% return and I didn't even have to have the risk of the stock owning it really, right? But it's just the compounding. Same way people say like buy dividend companies and then put that money right back in. Like I'm doing that, but I'm doing it on steroids because it's paying me 13% a month. All these other dividend companies are paying you, right, 4% a year or, you know, like very minimal. They're not paying you quarterly 3%.
right.
So, this is like basically a dividend. You're just going to get this for your capital and then you can just now you have 10 11,000 or whatever 10,000 to play with on that. You can just put that money right back in and do another contract. So,
Yep.
there's the compound factor, there's the consistency factor. It only works this will truly the method works if you're just consistent with it.
Yep.
Consistently making 10% every 40 days, 30 days, whatever you want. Um, you'll
I think I'm gonna close out
Do you have a
my
lunar
lunar
CSP or just the
CSP.
shares?
I have shares and I think I have the. Let me go find it because the stock's up really big today.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a lunar $15 put. I only bought one contract. You
But
know what
so
I mean?
yeah, I just wanted to see how it works. So yeah, what's it say you're up on it?
See,
It's about Lunar's breaking
it
out, right?
says
About to?
it's not breaking out yet. And when I say breaking out, you know what I mean, like above my trend lines.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think lunar. I think lunar's definitely an uptrend.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not a very steep uptrend like ASTS is right now.
Right. It's also not
Right.
one of the ones that pulled back the most out of all of them.
Right.
Didn't give a whole lot up.
Oh man, look at coin. $208. I sold at 200. I knew, dude, I was literally about to turn off my sell on coin and change it over to a stop loss.
Yeah.
And then it was like market open, sold.
Navitas.
So with Lunar, it says total return 59.39%.
Yeah. So basically 60%. So you've collected 60% of the total premium you would collect. In order to collect the other 40%, right? The stock either needs to go up or time needs to go by. One or the
Right.
other need to happen.
So closing it now would probably make sense if I want to, right?
Yeah, you just get to keep 60% and you get all your capital back and you didn't lose anything. Yeah,
I need my capital to buy some other stuff.
exactly. That's the fun part
Yeah.
about CSPs, right? Like if I go, oh no, I can distribute that capital to this place for more, then there's no harm, right? It's just like close it, give me my
No,
capital back.
there's a bid and an ask if I'm gonna
You
buy it out, right?
buy to close, you want to do whatever the lowest number is you can do because it's the number of like money you're giving back.
Right. So it says bid 62 cents. So that's what I would set it to.
What's the ask? What's the price of the ask?
72 cents.
So yeah, so it's gonna fill somewhere in the you're not gonna get the bottom, right? It's always gonna be in the middle, right? There's the people buying and there's the people selling. So somewhere in
Right.
between there, the lower you can get, the
Right.
better. But yeah,
Right.
you can't do the bottom, it won't fill.
Yeah.
So I typically will do the mid or try to go a little below the mid to see if I can get the fill. But I don't like I said, it's money, but I don't try to pinch pennies because like you said, right, the stock just starts moving the opposite way and then you're gonna be pissed that you didn't do it.
Right. Totally.
CSP when it says, hold on, let me go to my CSP. So right here, so if you do the three dots and you see total return, like you do your little three dots, so you can see which one you're on, total return. Let me hold on, I'm reading your message again. But on Robinhood CSP, when it says total return, that is the total amount you are up, right? So yeah, when I see total return, this is the amount I am up on my CSPs right now. Okay, so, but if I click into it, okay, I would have to give up, right? I'm total return, I'm up 650 bucks. But if I wanted to like close this is the amount I would have to give back. I keep the 650 and I give back the 1130. So, yeah. Does that make sense? A lot of like Damien and we've all been talking like a lot of companies have pulled back a significant amount, guys, from all-time highs. It's not like buying at these levels. Even some of these we just talked about Iran. Iran with 11% day is still nowhere near like overvalued. Like you could buy at 43 and like we've said 3 6 months from now you're going to be happy you own Iran, right? Like could
Yeah.
you potentially buy it
100%.
for a little cheaper tomorrow? Yeah, potentially, right? So don't get so caught up in that part, but if you just slowly add today, not today, but I don't know today. Well, who knows? Tomorrow could be another 11% day. This market's kind of crazy. But if you just add slowly at good support levels, big red days are good too. Like yesterday was kind of worrisome for Iran. You thought maybe we were potentially there's the vertical support, but then you also saw that we could be losing like a trend line, you know. So it was
Oh
a
yeah.
little worrisome. So it'd been hard to want to say, yeah, let me go ahead and buy some more. Now a CSP yesterday would have been fine. We already had a CSP for 35 strikes, so I wasn't willing to really do any more, just because it wasn't really to a point where I was like, it would better my current CSP a whole lot, so it wasn't worth it. Um, but slowly buy in. Like a lot of these are at good support and bottoms. APLD is giving us a diamond today, right? We did a CSP yesterday. It's giving us a diamond today. Um, and if you when you guys circle back, just so you guys know, and like whenever 3 months, 6 months from now, we're gonna say the same thing that we said to these diamonds was like, oh, but it could go lower, and it's like it might not go lower because if you take a look at a few of these, Iran, okay, Iran, you are like this is what I was saying. Iran, we're still here, but Iran, if you bought all four of these, like you're fine. You're currently at your like average. But Nibius, right? Here's our daily buys, daily buys, daily buys. We're well above that price. I'm sure, obviously, we're above on ASCS. Cypher has bought this bottom consistently. We're currently at this one on a gray candle. I don't know. TE still doing good. Now we have the next energy company. Here's that one I was talking to you about, Damien, the other day. FLNC getting a diamond today. MACD curling. Williams breaking out. Stochastic breaking out. Volume is slowly creeping up higher. So this one looks, and it's still at a good level. I'm not saying it's even overvalued, even on a 6% day whatsoever. It's out of vertical support, or horizontal support line at our golden Fibonacci level. I would expect this to bounce up to probably the 1850 and reject, and then like bounce one more time off of here. Because we haven't seen an ABC correction. This is A, so now we need to see B. So they're going to reject somewhere in this range and then down one more. And probably, yeah, somewhere again, right back to where we are. AMPX, buy signals was right here on AMPX. ONDS, buy signals were somewhere right here. Not crazy above where we currently are. So if we start circling back, guys, like I'm saying, it's like just they require time. ASTS, our diamond, was here, right? We did do a CSP. We just earnings has been a shit show. It just happened to be that one earnings was not the shit show. Like Sat L, we got 2 diamonds in this area. Rocket Lab, we got 2 diamonds in the gray zone, but we are on a trend line. I still think it's going to follow ASTS, which it has been since we just said it this morning. Red Wire, beautiful bounce. We haven't gotten anything for Lunar because, like we said, it hasn't pulled back an insane amount.
ASDS one. $2 away from my sell target. Sorry.
Here you go. No, you're good. I'm a huge ASTS believer. It was just like we said, like certain stocks have pulled back significantly more, and like I was like, yeah, ASTS can drop significantly, like we thought potentially. The moving average that it kept holding was, I think, the 100-day moving average, 200-day. I forget which one it was, but I was like, yeah, I don't want to do that again with these stocks right now. Like, there's other ones that don't have the risk of the additional drop. Yeah, I mean, it touched the middle band, never came back and touched this middle band where it's proven to be kind of the bounce. So, which I think it would have done, I guess, but they did a very good job on their earnings and really made people feel comfortable owning it with saying, we're not going to dilute shareholders anymore. Well, at least for now. I don't know if they said any more, but that was very positive. That's what people want to hear right now in this market. What are you going to say, Damien?
Was that ASTS you were talking about?
Yeah. Yep. ASTS said they're not going to dilute shareholders anymore.
That's awesome.
I would believe that's not anymore forever, but maybe. I would assume that's just like for the next year, maybe. But it's hard to say. If they get to 150, I don't know. I have a hard time believing they would not do it. Unless they really think they're good to go, don't need any more money, but it's still an early company. I have a hard time imagining they don't need it or want it. Gladiator did a trade, guys. If I follow a Gladiator trade, I'm not gonna post it because he's posting his trades. So I can't, like, that's part of full members, and then my stuff is also for free members. So if I do them, and I don't, his trades are a little bit more riskier than what I would normally do, but he did one today. If you guys look on SoFi. So, as you know me, I'm a SoFi bull, so I am going to go ahead and follow his SoFi trade. We'll see if it pans out. I didn't do anything crazy. I put, I don't know, $600 on it, $600 for my account, nothing crazy. I guess everyone's $600 to each person's different. But I know that I can make $600 back on a CSP and be okay. I also we've already done some SoFi CSPs and done, for my account, $2,000 in premium. So I'm only taking some of that premium that I've made from SoFi and risking it. So I think I think he's seeing a lot of momentum on the options chain for the potential of the S&P 500 inclusion, either this Friday or next Friday. I don't think they say what Friday it's going to be, but it's a Friday and it's one of the next two Fridays. So, um, yeah, I was willing to take the risk. I'm like, yeah, that's a good one. If they get in, it could totally pop, and that's going to be a good chunk of options. So, if you want me to go over that, I can. And if anyone in the chat has questions, we can go over whatever you guys want to go over. I put in the chat. No, so it's a SoFi to sell at 20. So it's an option. You're hoping that goes past 20. You make more money the more it goes past your strike price. So we're hoping for a bigger pop. So it's a long it's not long, it's a swing, right? It's only 45 days. So way shorter than I would normally ever do on options. I prefer to do 2028s. And I thought about that. So, and I don't know your thoughts on this, Damien, because I know we're heavy. You don't mess too much with options, right? Because it's a dangerous game. It's not a super safe game when it comes to buying long options. But at these undervalued levels, sorry, you can answer my question first.
Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, I'm so new to options.
Okay.
Um, that I didn't want to mess with something until I felt like I fully understood it or could
Yeah.
just limit risk along the way.
Right.
I know Miguel is really good with that. So he's like the option guy along with you, obviously, who's killing it.
Yeah.
Um, so I just take the small things to try to learn and then
Yeah. So options is how you can long options, Damien, is something that like it requires far less capital. Is there risk? Yeah, you can lose all the money, all the capital you put up. But when it's something so undervalued, for me, I'll use the example of SoFi. Even when SoFi was 17, I was thinking about this, but there was still downside, and I was waiting for more of a bull run to take place, right? But if you do it, you can, right? A contract is 100 shares. You can ask, go ahead.
Oh, me or someone
Yeah.
else?
I thought you were asking a question.
Oh no, sorry, I had muted and then
Oh, gotcha. No
unmuted,
worries.
I think.
So we can sign a contract saying, SoFi will be more than $20 by January 2028. The same thing with our other options. You don't need to hold the contract all the way till January 2028. You can close it for gain early on, right? The likelihood of SoFi being over $20 by 2028 is very likely, right? And when you are doing this, you're more saying by January 2028, SoFi will be more than $20 plus your premium. So more than $27, which again, I would say between now and January 2028, that is more likely to happen than not. And you only have to put up, instead of buying, right, I don't know, if you bought 100 shares at the current price, that's $1,900. To buy this one contract, to buy 100 shares, you use less collateral, which is $710. So you can buy for the same money almost 3 contracts. So you can buy 300 shares of SoFi instead of only buying 100 shares of SoFi with the same amount of capital. Okay. That allows you to basically like truly maximize tons of return. But the risk is obviously if SoFi all of a sudden decided that they wanted to um, only be bank for I don't know, like turned into I don't know. So anyway, SoFi becomes a terrible bank all of a sudden, and nobody wants to ever bank with them again, and they ruined all the trust, and they decided to hold everyone's money hostage, and blah blah blah. Like if that happened, yeah, you could lose all the capital. Obviously, you can close it early and just take a partial loss, but if it got to the expiration date January 2021 or 2028, and SoFi was under 27, your break even at the expiration date is the $27, then you would lose all your capital. But you put up way less capital to own more. So when things are this undervalued and you think the bull run is about to start or things have found their bottom, this is a way to use way less capital and still get the same or even more return. So
Yeah,
that's
I bought.
how you do that. Go for it.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, back in the old Discord, I ended up following a call option for Duolingo, and at the time, looking at my charts, when I think I was a little bit less knowledgeable than I feel now, I was like, oh yeah, definitely, it could do this, it could do that, So I basically followed a call option, and then we saw what happened with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't like to do call options until we're in this kind of moment, right? Like when we are super undervalued and I see that long term we're Gucci, right? Like I would imagine SoFi is more than, and really 27 only comes into account but at the expiration date. If by tomorrow SoFi runs to 22, 23, right, or whatever, like in the next 45 days, the option would be up almost like 100% return. Like it would be up significantly. Um, maybe not 100%, but a lot more than, and you'd have to put up way less capital. So that is something I think we're going to start. I'm going to start. Whether or not you follow is up to you, but I'm going to start as we are hitting these low levels now. Like for example, we did the CSP on CSP on APLD yesterday, and I was able to get $1,700 in premium. Yesterday, if I did it, I'd be up a lot right now. But what you could have done is the $1,700 in premium, gone to trade APLD. You can buy a call. I would probably stick to the 2028s just because of the uncertainty in the world still. And I had 1,700, so I could have bought for even cheaper than today, right? It would have been 8% cheaper. So this would have been $13 yesterday. So for $1,300, I could have bought this option for 2028 that this would have been $30, you know. And then on a green day like today, I would have made more with my option and still got my premium back. That's what we're going to start doing. Now that I see kind of what the market can turn around, the war can easily turn around. We've gone further in. So probably on the next big red day, that's what we're going to do with the premium, is that we're going to get the premium and then immediately put the premium to work, buying those options. So just be ready, because that's how you can make even turn that strategy into even a bigger banger if you don't need the premium right away. Does that make sense? Anybody have questions about that? Or say, Colby, that's stupid. Don't do that. Anybody got questions about that? Let's check the chat. Let's check some charts. And I can check some charts for you guys if you guys want to. We can all give our opinions. ASTS still moving. SAT-L moving. SAT-L and they all move together, guys. So like if ASTS is gonna just rally, all these other ones are gonna do the same. They're just gonna move with it. Good move for us on ONDS. These two were super green yesterday, and ONDS was red yesterday, so we went ahead and played with the ONDS one. APLD was a great move yesterday. I think some of you did IREN yesterday too. Path has, I wanted to do Path, not yesterday, it was green, but like in general, but I keep looking at earnings. And something tells me that this earnings for Path is going to be a lot like a Zeta earnings was, and it's going to have that initial pop, and then it's going to kind of just, I mean, it's still kind of moving up, but it's going to have the initial pop, and then it's going to plateau a little bit. Because the charts kind of look really like similar as far as finding their bottom and then earnings, and they're kind of in the same field as far as their AI software goes. So I do think Path has found its bottom I just can't believe that it was all-time lows. Near all-time lows, at least. Got, wow, you went heavy into ONDS. You weren't playing around on this one. Yeah, I mean, you're waiting for that daily momentum to flip. I'm sure you're on a shorter time frame. The weekly coming up.
Yeah, my target short term for ONDS is I believe 1250
Mm-hmm.
for resistance. So I've got a sell order placed up there. Like I said, I'm trying to time the bottoms and trying to time the tops
Yeah.
and be as close as I can to,
It's funny though, because like
you know.
if war ends, it's like everyone's like, we don't need drones anymore. Because
Right.
that's what everyone. It's how the market's reacting right now. They're like, less drones, more rocket ships. That's how the
Yeah.
world's moving. Put some more satellites up there. Or here's our data centers are. I don't know. Is data centers booming because they think energy is going to get cheaper now, or I'm assuming that's kind of what the word is. Word is on the streets. Miguel, why the sad face? Because 1250 is not high enough for you? Oh, Netflix went red. We said to be placing a put on it as soon as we see the crossover happen. I think.
Let me
Well,
go look
you have a
at Netflix.
consolidation box here, so like it's not ready yet on the 4 hour time frame. You're not even at
That's
the
that's
resistance yet.
on a day like today. Stocks like Netflix and Apple and all those don't really have big moves usually.
Yeah, because they're like more
I think
safe
Netflix,
havens.
right, exactly. So Netflix already put in its big move.
Yeah. Now it's the pullback, and then I'm sure
And this
something
isn't even,
happens, and then it goes back up. So
yeah,
hold
if I was you, Miguel, I wouldn't sweat Netflix.
or set a covered call. Okay, he's out. So golden Fibonacci on pullback would be about 85. Is that 85? What did I close? 85. You have a good support at 90, but obviously if you're looking for prime entry, which would test this support that these have fallen to right here as well, would put you right at that 85 mark. So but you could place a put on Netflix if you wanted to.
Yeah, my opinion on Netflix right now is you want it to hold. You don't want it to drop below 750 or 9750. That's pretty much support right there
Yep.
in the short term. Yep. So as long as that holds, and that's the thing, even if it drops, like
He's
I don't
sold
know if you're
already.
gonna get a huge drop. What'd you say?
I said he sold.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's
he took his gains though, so that's
yeah.
good.
Elwa saying light keeps dropping after the purple. Did you see that? Yeah, I mean,
No.
yeah, so basically we got this purple Monday, which would have been the day, right? Because the month ended on last Friday. Monday, they got a contract or something from NVIDIA, some $2 billion or something like that, and it skyrocketed to 78. Purple means sell all. Okay. So I don't know if this is a company. One, it's a super expensive stock, so like it's not something I'm willing to place a put on because the contracts are just so freaking expensive. Like it's just a lot of money to shell out there. Um, but if you take a look, the last time NVO is the perfect example. This purple, sell all. So It's definitely when it comes up becomes super overvalued. Um, so we'll see. I'm watching it. It's just too expensive for me to play this company, but it's a crazy chart, that's for sure.
Buying
So,
puts freaks me out,
huh?
or not buying puts, but like shorting a stock
Yeah.
that freaks me out because when you're wrong, the upside if something just takes off
Yeah, so shorting is
could
different
be
than placing puts.
right, right.
Because shorting is unknown loss potential. You could lose your entire account. A put is the same thing with like how we just did a long option where it's like, okay, I'm risking losing all $600, right? But I can't lose any more than my 600. That's what a put is. You're saying I bet it goes down. If it doesn't go down, I lose all of this $600. So like you know how much you're willing to risk at least, and you can't lose any more than what that number is. So that's the good part about puts. I don't believe in shorting. I think never leave your loss potential to be endless. That seems ridiculous. So yeah, and there's no shares. Sat L. I have so little shares that I'm just like, yeah, like Damien. I guess when you're playing with this, like, what's your like? I know you just said you did 40,000 into ONDS or something in the chat, right? What are you playing with in Sat L when it comes to that? Like 40K into ONDS, I get it, but Sat L is obviously way smaller of a company. Like I have 1,000 shares, so I'm like risking 3 grand. You know, it's like nothing crazy for my account. It's 0.7% of a position, not even 1%. Does anyone have any stocks or shares that they want to know whether or not they should be doing a covered call or CSP on or anything like that? We'll go over them, talk about them. Because we got Oscar, and the Oscar is the one that's teasing me in my mind if I should be doing a covered call. The thing is with Oscar, right? We're coming up to this point where we got resistance and we are hitting these trend lines. There's a lot going on here. Okay. We know the bottom support has held very strong here. When it bounced up, it rejected. It came up, rejected it twice, and then it broke through. Same thing. Majority of the bouncing took place on this line in April, just because the peak of April I never really count. I want to take where the majority of that bouncing happened, just because it was such a shock to the market as far as the news. But the overall stocks held the midpoint, right? And you can finish up your message. I'll see whatever messages you guys have. Um, and then these other two were bouncing. So now we have the news, right? Government is still shut down. Okay. The government is still shut down, partially shut down, which is crazy that nobody talks about that, because that part is the part that could hurt GDP, which I think, right, the whole, um, yeah. So, I forget to say your name, but I want to say Subaru, but I know that's not right. That's just what I see when I see your name. Have you guys seen like the social media one where it's like Subaru and stuff? Yeah, that's what I see. That's what I see when I see your. I don't know if that's your real name. I feel bad if it's your real name because I don't know, but people don't use their real name all the time on Discord names, right? My real name is not Chill, right? So, um, but crypto again. If I can get somebody else in the community to help me with cryptocurrency, I would like that. Okay. Sorry, I wasn't sure. If is there how do you how do you say it? Is there a way to type it so that you can type out the pronunciation? But um or I can ask Google. Um but for me, I can't look at crypto fundamentals or anything. I just can't stand looking at crypto. But we can take a look. I'm sure we can find some good stuff. So let's see here. Obviously, the majority of the buying, just like here, was all taking place in this range. So That's where the bottom is. As long as we don't lose that
Well,
60, we're going to start a new uptrend. What happened? I heard noise. That was weird. He must be backing out and backing back in. So here's our channel, right? We can see the trend line channel. Boom, boom, boom. So what we really need to do is break this resistance. Okay. So depending on when we hit that is going to be between now and if we don't, the worst case scenario time frame would be May. So between now and May, we should see a breakout as long as we don't lose the bottom band. Okay. So overall, I would say we have, unless, like we said, World War III or whatever happens in the market, buying dip opportunities between crypto and the market at these levels. Yesterday, big red, right? You should be dabbling, putting some money into the market. Okay, some money. Don't go all in yet, right? If the VIX, we did that post with the VIX, is that where's the VIX right now? 21. Okay. Um, the VIX is it's like 25 is when you start deploying some cash. 35, you're setting yourself up for a great return. 45, you're setting yourself up for just future self to have some sort of Corvette or something like that. And then anything above that is like you're setting yourself up for generational wealth. Okay. So you have to still save money for this potential opportunity in a day, right? This same thing. It didn't last very long, right? Boom, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we're kind of back down, right? So like you only get 5 days to make that decision. You don't get usually a lot of time when this VIX. Here's August of 2024. There's one day where it's just a big dump fest, right? Same thing, a couple days in March of 2020, April 2020, and then boom. So like you got to make sure you save some money for those opportunities, but you can't be scared of the market when the opportunity is presenting itself to still dabble at some companies back at 52-week lows, because then 6 months from now you're going to be like, why didn't I buy anything? I know it could have went lower, but why? I should have just bought some. Like you'll have that conversation in your head, and you'll have that conversation in your head today. But overall, I would say crypto is found its bottom. Buy on dips. Don't go chasing it on a 6% up day to day, right? Um, but we are looking like we are trying to break out. The majority of the bouncing happens right there at that 70-68 range, right? So I would say get another opportunity to the 70-68. Start, dabbling a little more. Are you trying to just get out of what you own in Bitcoin? Is that what you're doing? Or are you trying to figure out buying Bitcoin? I feel like the majority of people are trying to figure out getting out of Bitcoin. Damien, if you want to talk, Miguel, you guys want to talk, anyone want to talk, you guys can still raise your hands. Getting out. That's so funny. I think most people in cryptocurrency right now are trying to figure out getting out of crypto. Um, I think in general, I wouldn't worry. I know it sucks to hold during this time, but I think just so you know, the second it gets back to break even, I don't know what your break even is, but the second you get back to break even is just like the start of the actual bull run. So you're going to hold through all that noise. It's kind of like me with Oscar right now. It's like as soon as it gets back to 18 or 21 or 22, this is going to be the time that Oscar actually breaks through and starts its rally, right? Usually, once you held through like the worst part of the company, the next part is actually where the fruitfulness comes from. And most people will want to say, "Oh, just get me out," because they just endured like the most painful part. But since you endured it, you should probably try to endure like a little bit more to try to actually gain and carry through on your thesis, right? Um, so a lot of people buy companies, they go down, they get scared, right, and get out. And that actually ended up being the final dip before it went on further. Trying to think. Same thing. First, perfect example, actually, right? Everyone who bought SoFi, for example, up here or anywhere in this range, right? At this $12 or higher range before that April crash. And then it got all the way down to $7 or $8 right down here, $8. Whereas during this, the second they got to break even anywhere between 13, 14, 15, and then got to this like 16, and then a lot of people said when it gets to 18, I'm selling. A lot of people. And it broke through. All these people that got out and were like, I'll just take my small win. I don't want to go down again. Didn't This is the part where you endured all this pain. You might as well enjoy the actual like rally part. This was just getting back to where, people were willing to pay already. Now you got to enjoy the next upside swing. So that's going to be the same thing that Bitcoin's going to do. That's going to be a lot of these companies that a lot of people who bought IREN for 60 are going to say, I want to get out at 60. Well, IREN's going to go to 90, right? So like you when you've already endured it and you can't unless you can rotate your money to something super cheap. But if everything's rallying, you're better off just holding what you currently have is my thought process. So for me, like I'm holding SBET, right? Which is Ethereum. I'm holding Ethereum. And I'm like, yeah, I want to get back. I want to get out and get my capital back. But obviously, if crypto and everything else are up, then really my rotation to something else isn't going to matter. Now, if crypto runs up and you can get your capital and equities are down still, right? You can still buy SoFi for cheap or buy ONDS for cheap or any of these companies for cheap. Then you can pull your money straight out, right? And then rotate them in. Miguel, do you still own CleanSpark? You can raise your hand if you want to talk about the IREN CSP. Go for it. What's the question?
Okay, so we use the Bollinger Bands as a way to try to pick a price
Yep.
on a CSP.
Yep.
So we've been talking about that Ren CSP that I have that's expiring on Friday. I picked the 42.
Yeah.
So I picked that about a month ago. When something is right around your strike price at expiration, do you consider that a success, or how do you think about something like that?
Yeah, so the goal, to optimize, I guess, a CSP, your goal, right? Your strike price is 42. Your goal is hopefully on expiration date, the stock is 41.95. Like that's the goal, right? Because you got all the premium and you basically just bought the stock for the same price and it's currently sitting there, right? Like you got all the premium and you just paid for what it currently is today. So like that's the true goal, is to be able to buy the shares at a good price and get to collect all the premium. And be very little down, I guess. You're 42, right? You're down 5 cents from your buy. Like that's no worries, because now you get to set a covered call if you wanted to right away, and you're already at the money at 42. So now you could probably set a 47, a 40, 45, whatever the 30 delta is, and collect a juicy premium and the strike price, right? Because if it was like you got assigned yesterday, right? We were talking about it was like 38, 39. You could still set a good premium, right? But that 38 back to your 42 is really not a gain for you. That's just that's just making back your money that you
Mhm.
would already, be at. So the goal is ultimately to be assigned as close as you can to your strike price.
Yeah,
You want the
got
stock
it.
as close as you can to it.
Okay.
Obviously, as you get closer and 42, I'm assuming you're pretty much at what, 80? I don't know what percentage you'd be up on yours right now.
Let me see here.
Got to be a pretty good chunk.
Yeah, I'm at total return of 71%.
Yeah, so you're at 71%. So it's like, again, you don't have to, but you can close it for 70% of that gain. Obviously, you only have till Friday. You have 42, so like you said, you're right here. So it's your thought process is, do I think that the market is doing a fake pump where I can collect 42 or 70% or maybe 80% if it rallied a little bit more? Collect that and then tomorrow we see the a pullback, a dump, and then be able to do a 42 again, you know. Some people do the wheel strategy and they're like, my goal is to really never get the shares. I think, I don't know if you guys know TJ the Wheel Deal on X, but he basically said his goal is to never own shares. He just wants to collect premium. So him, I already know, he would just take his 70-80% win and then reset 45 days later and hope to not get the shares again. So there's people like that just want to rely on premium only. But for us, like for me, I like to get premium during the choppiness, right? These like up and downs that keep happening and just keep resetting, and my date kind of stays the same. I'm just trying to better my, take the small win the next day, open it up, and be back to where I was initially. And I just make up that little. But if you can, the goal would be obviously Iren get to own this stock and get to enjoy the fruitfulness of going back up to the top of this band to 60. And then that's when your true gains get to be made, right? Then you get to get that like $18 a share, and then you get to start setting covered calls and collecting some premium, right? And still get to make more along the way. Or you get up here and you're like, you know what? I'm just going to take the win. I'm not going to do covered calls. I'll just sell the stock. And you can do that. There's always different ways to manage it, and it always depends. Like if I was worried that the market was going to dump, I'm not going to just do covered calls. But if I think that the market still has potential to go higher, then I'm going to do covered calls because I do want to make some money if it doesn't go higher and it just consolidates or does whatever. But if it does go higher, my strike was moved up. I didn't just take that win right then. So, I think for you, Iren, I would say I would hold it. And hopefully, I hope that you get assigned the shares somewhere between $40 and your strike of 42. Um, Somewhere in that range. I think you're fine getting it. We talked about it yesterday where you can just set a covered call right away. So, like, if you did get assigned your Iren, dun, 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 trade. So you got signed your Iren, let's just say, and then you wait a week, and then you have you're to 43, right? You got your signed, and then next week the stock was up a little bit, and you just waited today, and then you went to your, let's just say, the April 17th, the 40 days out, right? A 30 delta, you can say I'll sell Iren for $45 or $55, and you're gonna pay me $2.40 in advance, right? Like, so your goal would be to hopefully get assigned right away, and then you can go ahead and just set a covered call. Now to maximize return, right, you wait for it to go to the upper band, but right now with the uncertainty in the market, it'll be up to you whether or not you just do it right away, just because we can still go down. There's still downside to everything right now with the uncertainty, and you still will make one contract, right? So it's 42, 55, so 13 times your 100, you'll make your $1,300, plus you made an additional, right, 239, so you're going to make 1,500 bucks, right? But you'll make an extra 239 in advance, and then you'll get to put that 239 bucks towards something else you want to buy. Maybe you want to buy an option on it, maybe you want to buy more shares of this or whatever. It's like, so yeah, hopefully that answered your question.
Yeah, no, that's super helpful. Thank
Okay.
you.
No problem. And great job, by the way. I was looking at my Iren and I was like, do I want to roll my strike up? Right? Do I want to roll? I have a 35 strike and I'm like, I don't know if it's going to get there. Like, even close. Like, do I want to make a little bit more premium? But when I was looking at it, I was like, wait, it's going to pay me $1 more, but I'm going to move from 35 to 38. I'm like, I don't know if that's worth the risk. That didn't make sense to me. Even if I did 40, I don't even think it went up $2. So it was like, wait, I'm gonna get paid less than $2, and I'm moving my strike up $5. I'm like, please make it make sense to me. So I didn't do it, but I'm glad I did the APLD. I'm glad I did the little risky one. I thought it was risky. I guess it wasn't. But I'm good with this. Did this explanation, I don't know if you guys got to watch the video, did my explanation help on why I did that? I wish I was able to like make my trades and make a video right away and make it make sense, but I have to like make my trades and then maybe after the day I can make a video recapping, but I don't know if you guys watched it or not. Let's see. Sat L trying to break out. So if I'm probably down on that option I bought, but like I said, I'm waiting. That option play is basically for the S&P 500. What do you guys own Oscar for? I own a good chunk in the 15s, and then I own a good chunk, unfortunately, in the 17s in my retirement account. So that one is going to be a while because obviously, if it gets back to 17, then the breakout has happened, and I'll just hold. Yeah, okay. So it's up to you. Are you wanting to just get out of it, or are you gonna do covered calls on it? What's your plan with yours? Okay, so you're gonna wait till the 2024 mark. Yeah, that's kind of what my thought process is because I've already like dealt with all the shenanigans, I guess, of it. But it's all going to come down to this government shutdown. How long are they going to, have it closed until they come to this agreement? Because this triangle goes all the way till the April moment. So at some point, we got to know. I would imagine with their guidance, it's not going any more down compared to the bottom of 12. Their guidance, like we talked about, what was it, 13 to 16 billion in revenue? Like, even if they did half of that, it still doubles the company's price. So, um, yeah, I'm all for it. So that's also me. Like, I'm like, yeah, I'm not really ready to let this go. This thing could easily pop with some news. We've seen it happen, right? They did news here, 13 quickly turned into 18. News again, 14 quickly turned into 18. News here initially was 14 and then it ran up to 23. So like that government news can change it with their guidance also, and without including ACA, I believe is that guidance they just gave, turns quickly into, instead of 13, 16, probably quickly turns into 20s. And then this thing, yeah, rallies like no other. So um, I'm just holding for it. Looks like SoFi is struggling to break that 19 and hold the 19. We're going to see what turns into this. Let's see. But the thing is, too, with ASTS and these ones, what I'm looking at, right? So I see ASTS positive on the MACD. Like we've broken out. We can see it clearly. What worried me was also that we have a negative MACD here, stochastic still going down. This is coming back up. If it rejects this, then it is going to go down further and you're going to see the rejection happen. And then we're going to get to buy it for 70. And that's where I want to buy it. So that's why I didn't want to go chasing. I just didn't think that the risk reward was there. Like I see that the reward has now been there, but at the time it wasn't worth it. If we take a look at a bunch of other companies too, right, this is held here and it should have come down here. This is where we're talking about the 73, low 70s. I'm all in. I'm down for some ASTS. But if we look at some other companies, SoFi, weekly Bollinger Band, we're at the bottom of a weekly Bollinger Band, right? Like, why wouldn't I put my money into something less risky as far as the downside potential goes? ONDS, like, same thing. Like, I'm not a huge fan, but I understand that the defense and drones is a hot sector. So I'm willing to buy some at support. But the bottom of a Bollinger Band, our bull bear line on the weekly, like, it's $5. Like, this thing could easily drop that low. So I'm being more careful ONDS short term as well, and understand that risk is there. But as long as war is still on the table for a bunch of things, then drones aren't going anywhere. Navitas weekly Bollinger Band, we're at the middle, right, compared to the top, so we still have a good amount of upside. I like Navitas. We have our CSP on it. Any other stocks you guys are thinking CSP or cover calls or questions about? I know you have NVO. What's your NVO break even? $52. I don't think you worry long term on NVO by any means. But if you take a look, like here's the monthly, right? The EMA has completely reset. Last time it's done this huge reset was back in 86, like on the monthly time frame. MACD isn't curled yet, but it is like starting to plateau. Stochastic is starting to plateau. Like your downside trend line is 33. Like you're pretty much held for all the noise. If we go to your NVO one as well, we talked about it when it was at 60s or something, or 50, I forget where it went, 60, 58, somewhere in that range. Did you do a covered call at that time when we were talking about it? What's going on, trading game? You got any questions or anything? You're more than welcome to drop them in the chat, or if you can't type, you can hop in here, or you can leave. Let's see here. So if we go to trade NVO, sell calls. The good part with owning shares of NVO also, remember that it pays you a dividend. So you still are making money with your capital. And there are a few wheel strategists that do wheel strategies with companies that pay dividends. There's one big guy that does it. He started his whole channel. He's still pretty new to it, but he's done a really good job. He created a custom website specific for wheel strategy, but his wheel strategy are on boring companies. That's not me. I don't like boring companies. I understand that Coke is a great company, but I'm not interested. He's looking for like 2% monthly. We're looking for like 10% monthly for 30 days of our capital, right? We're looking to these growth companies. We understand that there's downside risks with growth companies, but we understand that the upside risk is also exponential. So I'm not to the point where I'm willing to start working on these boring companies yet, but he does dividend companies, boring companies, and he basically, this is how his mindset is, right? You can make money by their dividends, so win. You can make money on the CSP, that's a win. Make money on the covered call, that's a win. Okay, so all three ways you make a win, right? If you're stuck holding the stock during a dip like NVO, you still make money because you're getting paid your dividend, right? If it goes down further, you can do another CSP, you're making money, right? You goes up, you do covered calls, you're making money. During that whole time, you're still making money on your dividends. But you got to be careful with dividends because you need to know when those dividends come out. I don't know the math because I don't do dividend stocks covered calls very often. But there is a way that your shares get called away early because the dividend outweighs the premium, I guess. So basically, if there's a dividend payment, don't set a covered call over the dividend date. That's just a little side note. If you ever mess with it, they could call away your shares early because somebody, think about it, like you said, I'll sell my shares for 55, right? Well, maybe that person who wants to own them for 55 will buy them early because they want the dividend that the company's about to pay, and they think it's worth paying to get the shares sooner than it is to wait later, get it, and get the dividend. So that's for them to decide whether or not they're going to execute early, but you need to be aware that if you want to get paid the dividend and then reset a covered call, you need to close that early. Okay? Does that make sense? I know it's not a whole lot of detail, but I try to keep it simple in the way of like saying, if you don't want to lose the shares at that price, don't set the covered call over the dividend payment. You don't need to know any math if you if you just don't do the covered call over the dividend. Okay. 52. I mean, look at that. I know it's not a lot, but you could be setting right now while you wait for it to get back to your 50s. You could set a 55 and still make some money and not make nothing. You could make something while you wait for it. That makes sense? Like, I know it's not going to be a lot of money, but it's money. You're making money while you basically just have money sitting there doing nothing. So any money's better than no money, right? And MVO is not a company that really just like is going to skyrocket. I don't think so. It's just not a company that skyrockets. It's a nice gradual, typically a gradual, like riser, like this. Like this wasn't like, whoo, it was some guy hiking up a freaking mountain, right? And now he's going down the mountain. But you can still make something on your money. Don't ever just like not have your money working for you. I don't know what your thoughts are. Are you just going to be out of the same thing like your crypto? Are you just going to get out of NVO, or are you going to like, what's your thought? Are you going to just run the wheel on it? Hold it long term? Sorry, I'm looking at the world map and seeing what's going on here. Hold it. Okay. Yeah, I still think it's a great company. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think it is undervalued. It's a generational buy. Um, but I definitely would say, as it has those run ups, to at least do some covered calls on it, or just sell, whatever your feeling is. But if you guys don't know, this thing is a World Monitor, I guess. I don't know. It's new to me, but you can kind of see where all the conflicts are, the Intel hotspots, the Iran attack, flight delays, trade routes. If we do trade routes, here's our trade routes. Some flight delays are happening here and those little gray dots. So this is a pretty cool setup here. You can see some, I guess, cameras in Iran, Tel Aviv. You can see some cameras, Middle East. Let's see what the day is still doing. Sat L 343. Nice. So guys, if you want, take your wins. Okay. Let's go to shorter time frame and take a look and see what's kind of going on here. Wow, the 4 hour is a really tight band. Look how tight this is. At some point, it looks like it wants to break. 2 hour. Still breaking. 1 hour. Still breaking. I think we're good for a little bit. Breaking on the 30-minute. Okay. So short term, we might see a little bit pullback, but overall, the 2 hour, the 4 hour, the 1 hour, the 30-minute, the daily, breaking out. Okay. Even though weekly Williams is down, our like volume is still up. This is up. We do see the MACD curling. So let's see if we can get this bounce back up, like Damien was saying, like that 375 area. But you can take a win. Understand you are up on your position. You can take a win. Like I said, we click a few buttons. Some people work 8-hour days. I still work. I have work a little bit later today. But you can make what people make in 8 hours if you just take your small wins. Some of your money has to be required for small wins because not every play you make is quickly a multi-bagger, right? Some plays, this multi-bagger that everyone thought this was going to be during this whole period, right? Just sat there and consolidated for a whole year and your money did nothing. So remember to take your wins too, okay? Like I said, if I can make basically, I don't know, how many working days are in a year? Is it 280? There's 52 weeks. So it's 104 days. Minus some holidays. I don't know. We'll just say 250. Yeah, sure. 250. Times 8 hours in a day. times, what am I even calculating? 15. Yeah. Oh, well, I typically at work on 15 times 40 times 52 divided by 12, 2600 divided by, divided by 30. So after taxes, it's roughly like $90 a day is what people like make in a full day of working, right? Like $100 a day. For base, obviously everyone's career is in a different space. So if you want to take what you make in a normal job of what you used to make or something and figure out what you needed to make daily. And if you can make that, like yesterday we did some CSPs, right? And it's like if you can make some of that premium in like a solid day, take your win, right? Just cover like, okay, I did enough today to cover what I would have made if I was still doing whatever you were doing before. Like sometimes I look at that, I'm like, sorry if wife ever watches this video, but she makes, you know, roughly $130, $40 in a day. And it's like, okay, well, if I can make that in a day, then I did my part like she does, but she does it in 8 hours, right? So if you realize you can make those little wins stack up, $140 a day adds up to somebody's whole working career as a whole for a whole year, you know? So sometimes you got to take those little small wins. Yes, companies can always go up, companies can always go down though, right? Is there anything you guys I know we talked about it a little bit. I'm trying to find out the best way to have my like a spreadsheet or something open to you guys so you guys can always access it, so you guys can see what my portfolio is actively in, because CSPs don't display on Blossom. Other than that, is there anything else you guys are looking for or anything inside the community to help? Sorry, my dog was huffing and puffing over there. Let's see. Look at Iran, still going 12%. APLD up to 9%. And hindsight's always 2020, guys, right? We do a CSP, we protect our downside. If we were able to have a report that told us tomorrow's going to be a 10% day, I would have just bought the stock. But our goal is to still make 14%, 10%, and not have to worry about the stock as much. Short-term targets and long-term targets. Thing is, I don't focus on, for me, I don't focus on any short-term targets. I mean, besides like if we pull up our chart, right? Like our target, clearly there's resistance up here in this like 32 range. So if we hit this, right, expect some that your targets kind of have been hit, and then the next set of targets, right? My long-term targets, I'm trying to think, and I can do it probably on this list. Obviously I can't do it on everything inside of here, all the 900 companies, but yeah, I can do long-term targets. Long-term for me, I'm talking like, I think 12 to 18 months out, and then I think, but obviously if we hit it sooner, take the win. Okay, which one you want to know first? I'll see if I know it off the top of my head, but let's see. Oh God, don't do EOSE to me. It's off my list. I know it's bounced. just it's also weird to me that management quickly bought, and I'm like, yeah, I understand that it's super undervalued, but I also have a feeling like the board of directors was along the lines of saying like, hey, figure out how not to do that next time. Like, do not tank our stock. And or he did it and was like, yeah, but I wanted to buy more for cheaper and like manipulated it. But ultimately, long term, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull up the base bottom to the top, 12 to 18 months. As long as the CEO does not screw people over again and can turn things around, change the whole energy around and everything like that, I would expect 40 is a little ambitious, but I would expect somewhere along this 30 range. But like I said, last time they did this, and that was my mess up. Was like I was there for this moment last time, but I was on the other end of it. Okay, I was. I think it was this earnings. No, when was this? I think it was this earnings. So they had this earnings and it rallied and then it dumped again from 7 all the way down to 382, and then we bought this area last time. But as you can see, it stayed above our bull bear line. Once like this, I was good with owning this because everything looked right, and Damien was there too, and we're talking about EOSE, and we're like, yeah, this looks like it's primed. And then we got screwed over by like the way management should have went about it, and I don't want to get too caught up on EOSE, but the way they should have went about it was they knew these numbers weren't going to hit. Whether or not you still believe you can hit the overall annual guidance is a total different story. But you better start giving some sort of signals to the market that this earnings announcement is not going to look good. And that's where they messed up. And therefore they're not open. They're not telling us what's going on with the market. They're looking to basically we're next earnings, everyone's going to be like, are they about to blindside us again? Can we trust them? And that part I don't like. Therefore, I could never hold you long term because I don't know if you're going to ruin us. And I don't want to be part of that. Um, and yeah, that's just my thought is like, I can't trust you. I can't trust by next earnings that I'm going to get to hold and think, oh my God, we're going to go to the moon. I will never think that again for EOSE. That's just my thought. And I'm allowed to have emotions. Yeah, so hymns, um, I still would like to get the weekly, which it's gonna get. So like, really, any dipping opportunity you can buy because it's going to. Now, it's not even really the diamond. What I want to see is I really want to see the MACD flip purple over orange. That's what I want to see, right? Because like, same thing here, right? This was October. If we zoom out, October diamond happened and the flip happened, right? Both these they crossed over and the diamond. That's good. Okay? That's what we want to see. So I want the diamond and I want to see this flip. Now, for me, my cost average I think is 28. Okay? Like I'm here with you guys in the whole pain scenario, but like I said, long term, I'm telling you, if you want to know my 12 to 18 month target, it remains 82, 98, 108, 124. Okay. I remain bullish. Okay. I'm still going to get my CSP in. I did my roll for May. So I'm going to get my CSP unless the stock rallies back up above 27, then I won't get it. Okay. These remain my targets though. Okay. The time frame that this took last time was 477 days. If it took that same day and I copied this angle in which this took to get there, top to bottom, and take that same thing, we would get at least back to 82 within about a year, year and a half. 475 days. Okay. Back to 82. This thing can move hyperbolically. It's so forth, so on. I see your message. You can type it. You can send it. I won't move on. What's it called? For me, I want both those to flip positive to happen. If this flips positive and for whatever reason the stock is back to 26, 25 when this happens, when this happens, if it's too close to my break even price, I won't do it because it's like buying what I'm currently have, right? So that's just like what I would do. If we got another dip opportunity, then yes, I would buy some more after the diamond presented itself. So hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, I'm waiting for the weekly to give me more confirmation. We're in the smart money loading zone. Some people say if the whole market did its correction, then we would see this like 1150 range. So I understand that's the downside. That's why I was willing to wait for confirmation more for HIMS. Just because the downside's still there. I own plenty now, right? I rather still save myself a little bit more if the downside was there. So that was my thought process. But plenty of upside for me when it comes to HIMS. Nibius, that's what we were talking about. Sorry, yawning. Nibius has had a really hard time with this $100 freaking strike price. Really hard time. So let's see here. 107. I like to look at weekly sometimes just to see how high the band does go. 128 and 107. Okay, and we see a lot of resistance in this 105 range that's been hitting. And you have 100 shares. And then 127, 128 is the top of this next one. So let's see here. Nibius. Sorry, looking at that message real quick. Alrighty. So trade, sell, a call. You could look at March 20th. That's what I'm going to look at just first, just to see where a 30 delta is. Oh my God. So, I mean, it's such a good premium. Yeah. I mean, you could do the March 20th and do 109. Sorry, I'm yawning. Oh. It's up 150% in premium, so it's like a great time. And then April 17th, 30 delta. Is the 115 or 120? So I'll say this, always keep this in mind first, is that if you do the wheel strategy, shorter dates and are more, if you're right during doing shorter time frames, like the March 20th instead of the April 17th, if you are right and just keep the premium and then get to reset it again the following Monday, you will technically make more premium annualized. Okay, you will make more premium. If you want to not have to think about trading as often and not worry as much and be happy with making technically up front. You're going to make more premium because you're going to have to you'll just get it up front. But if you were able to be right on the March 20th and then get to reset again for April 17th, you'll technically make more premium because you did it in 2 transactions and were right twice. Or you can set it instead of 109, get to do this 120, make technically more premium up front on the initial purchase and worry less about what goes on. So it's your thought process on, how much you want to manage it. Or do you think that I think Nibius is worth 120 well within 3 to 6 months. So like for me to worry less, I would do the 120, make my $4.50 up front right now and get to use, pay a bill or get to it's basically like paying for 124.50, selling it for 124.50. And again, remember, you will get to roll these positions if you wanted to. So if we get closer to April and it is like you just saw Iren right now at 43 or something like that, you would still get to roll 30 days out and collect a little bit more premium. It's April 17th for the 120 at a 28 delta. And if we look at the weekly, just so you can like 107 is the daily. Okay. So that would be like doing the March 20th one, would be like getting to do that, which it was like 109, I believe is where it put it at. So you could do that one. Like I said, that would be the more active option. A bull run happens though, and Nibius blows past 109, I think. Now, closer to all-time highs in this 120 range is when you could start seeing that resistance, right? It goes up here, hits 122 maybe, and then comes back down, hits this 106. And by that time, when it drops down to 106, you'll probably get to close the majority of that premium then. And then when it moves back up again, do it again, right? So either way, how you want to play that. But today is definitely the day, I think, to set your covered call. Just depends on how much you want to manage it. I do too. I like the April 120. Requires me to manage it less, give it more time, give the market time. Obviously, you're going to sell for a good chunk, right? You're going to sell for 24, 25, well, $24 from where it is today, and then additional 4, so that's like $30 almost from where it is today that you're going to make if that goes through. There's nothing wrong with making $30 a share, right? Like, and I'm not mad if I get to make $5 while this thing consolidates and does whatever it's going to do. So, and if tomorrow's red, you can close it tomorrow and make whatever you're going to make. So, yeah, I'm all for that. It's on the top half of the band. You're good to go. Right now, I'm just giving the market more time and I'm capturing the premium because if you see a dump happen for whatever reason, right, I want it to have more time to recover. I want to collect the juicier premium up front. Of course. So what was the return on that? I can plug it into my sheet. I'm curious. Did you do a CSP to get Nibius to start? Okay, so you just bought it. See ya. Oh, where did it go? What was your cost average on Nibius? $4.42. That's amazing. So this is gonna be, you're gonna be like, yeah, great job. Way to hold through all this too. Amazing. I know it probably hurt that you didn't sell at the top and then like wrote it down to this level. I'm sure that's what you're kind of thinking right now. But no matter what, dude, it's an amazing trade. What was the premium? 440. So this is gonna look so funny. Isn't that crazy? Crazy. You basically can do this and constantly double your money every time. Right? Because every time the stock goes up $4.40 or whatever, 442, you make 100% return on your money. That's crazy. So yeah, every time you set a premium for $4.40, you're basically like, yeah, I just doubled my money again. So for this one, I would almost constantly, if it gets to like 120 or whatever and you're worried about it getting called away, up to you, obviously, but you could always look at the rolls. Just don't just say I'm getting rid of it. Like once it gets close to your expiration date within 2 weeks, always be looking at your roll options. I'll say that. Be proactive on the rolls with Nibius. Just because your cost average is so little that your premium doubles your cost at your doubles your like it's crazy. So you put $442 into this stock initially. So like this one time, right now you just got your money back, and now you're just like chilling. Now you don't even have technically money at risk, but you do. But I'm just saying. So that's how you double your money every month, basically, on this stock. Just constantly get to do the covered calls. Great job. All right, sounds good. Have a good one. Alrighty, guys. So that is what one of our live streams twice a week inside of our community. I discuss with you guys. We kind of go over some stock options, talk about it, and everything like that. None of it's financial advice. I'm just talking about what I would do as far as me when I manage my positions and how I kind of look at things. Whether or not you do it is completely up to you, but it's not me telling you that is what you do. So make sure you go ahead, follow us in our community, follow us on X, follow us on YouTube. Like, subscribe. We're just making money. CSPs, covered calls, buying stock, leaps, you name it, we're doing it. We are a bunch of bulls over here, though, so don't come over here being some put monster. I'm just kidding. If you're into puts, I'd love to learn a little bit more. I'm too optimistic. So, alrighty, guys. I appreciate your guys' support out there.